We've all seen the travel influencers who make every moment of their life seem like a perfect, never-ending vacation. But what if there's a lot more going on behind the curtain? 14 months ago, we set out to start traveling the world full-time, and we put all of our adventures on our YouTube channel. Typically in these videos, we're going out to do something fun and exciting, so these just happen to be all of our best days. But in reality, last year was shaped by really high highs and really low lows, and we think it would be a big disservice to everyone if we only ever showed the good stuff.
So in this video, we're just gonna be totally honest and share what our first year of full-time travel actually looked like for us, including all the challenges we faced along the way and the impact that it had on our mental health. And at the very end, we're also gonna share some of the biggest lessons we learned along the way.
This video is gonna get a little personal, and of course we just want to say that this is our personal experience. Everyone is gonna have a completely different experience, but we just wanted to share what is true and honest to us in hopes that it might help someone else who is struggling or help someone else who is looking into a life of full-time travel know a little more about what to expect. We didn't
name the chapter.
Which leads us to chapter 1, the chapter that we forgot to name and just realized in this moment. This covers our first 3 months of travel from Thailand to Laos to Cambodia.
We're just gonna leave it unnamed.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
On January 9th, 2024, we took our first ever one-way flight to Thailand. This was our first time for either of us to ever really travel at all, and also our first time traveling together. So we were super nervous, but also super, super excited. The first 3 months felt pretty magical. This was honestly one of the best times of our entire life. Everything was new, everything was different. It was just so much fun and so great to finally experience a new culture and experience travel for the first time.
On top of that, we were also starting YouTube for the very first time. We had never made videos before, and we just jumped straight in with these really, really extreme expectations of ourselves. Looking back, we were insane, but we were going off with these examples of the travel YouTubers that we watched at the time. And honestly, we could have watched a couple more people to get some more realistic expectations, but we saw these people, they inspired us so much to start traveling, and we were just like, that's what we're gonna do. We wanna make daily vlogs. So we just jumped out there and started moving so fast. We didn't have any days off planned. We were planning to work 7 days a week, constantly.
We did work 7 days a week.
We did, yeah, that's what we did. For the first 3 months, it was non-stop moving, traveling, editing.
From the time we woke up to the time we went to bed, always with less than 8 hours of sleep.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was so exhausted from the very beginning, but just the excitement of all this new stuff and feeling like we were finally chasing our dream, that's what kept me going during this time.
However, even though we were filming in a daily vlog style, we never actually gave ourselves enough time to edit these videos.
Nope.
So we were just unintentionally stockpiling dozens of videos.
And we thought that at some point we would take a week off and get all caught up, but that's insane.
That
did
not
not
possible.
happen. That's impossible.
Which leads us to Cambodia. When we got to Cambodia, we realized we needed to actually take some time, slow down a little bit, and edit our videos. We stayed in Siem Reap, Cambodia for a month, and once we actually slowed down our movement a little bit, that gave us some time to be able to actually hear our own thoughts. For me, what happened at that point is I just really started missing home. When we left home, we ended our lease on our apartment, sold all of our stuff. It was kind of a all-in mentality, and the realization of what I had left behind, just kind of our life in Nashville with all of our friends, hit really, really hard. This was the first time that I really started to realize, we're kind of on our own out here. We can call back home at certain times, but we're not surrounded by that community that we once were. Which leads us to chapter 2. We try our best out here. This chapter covers the next 5 months that we spent visiting 5 more countries.
We originally thought that we wouldn't go back home until December to see our friends and family for the holidays, but then we realized there was not a real reason we had to wait that long when we were missing everyone so much, so we went ahead and booked a flight back home for July so we could stay with everybody for a month. And honestly, even out of all of our amazing travels that first 3 months, this single moment, we were the happiest we'd been.
It was a good moment.
So exciting.
When we got to Vietnam, we started traveling really quickly again, and at this point, I started to experience the worst anxiety I've ever experienced in my life. And anxiety is not new for me, but this was the worst. It was honestly confusing because here I am living this lifestyle that I've dreamed about for so long, and I feel terrible. Like, if you know, you know. I felt really, really bad. So my solution for that was start taking 1 day off per week, which might sound really, really small to normal people, but for two people who never took any days off, this was a really big step. And at first, it really did help a lot. We slowed down just the tiniest bit, and we had a lot of fun in the Philippines and Malaysia.
We even took a 4-day break in Malaysia, which was our longest break so far, and it was so nice because we finally got to just do all the little things we hadn't had a chance to do yet, like take a bath or watch a movie together or just relax
Or go to Chili's.
We went to Chili's like 3 times within a 2-week span. We missed American food that much.
It slapped.
It did. After Malaysia, we finally had our trip back home, which was so nice to see everybody, but we were also full on editing the entire time because at this point we had, I think, 20 videos on our backlog. And then we headed out to start traveling again, and we had our Italy trip with our best friends. It was so amazing. 2 weeks just running around Italy. It was great.
Chapter 3, the one where we felt like
Pooper.
poopy.
Pooper.
A
Poopy. This chapter covers the rest of 2024 and a little bit into January of this year. So our Italy trip ended, and we had plans originally to visit more of Europe, but after being over 20 videos behind in editing, we realized at this point we just had to sit down, stop traveling, and hunker down and edit if we wanted to actually get all of our videos up this year. Last year. So that's what we did. We found a cheap but nice place to stay in Sofia, Bulgaria, and every day we just chugged away at editing.
Another challenge of full-time traveling that we had been experiencing all year but really came to a head while we were in Bulgaria was just a total lack of daily routines, healthy habits. We were sitting in Bulgaria editing like 10 plus hours a day because our sole focus was getting caught up on our videos so we could feel like we could actually travel again. And while we were there, I felt the worst physically I'd felt all year, even more than when we were moving every day, because I wasn't exercising. We weren't even getting up to take walks outside very much. There was just a total lack of routine and basically no healthy habits other than healthy food, I guess. I felt like a poopy.
A poopy. I too felt like a poopy through that time. Throughout the year, there was also just this growing feeling of loneliness and a deep desire to be around people more. We were always so focused on our work that there just wasn't really a whole lot of time to socialize. And of course, we always have each other, and I really don't think I could do this at all without Hannah. But the other side of being in a couple is there's really nothing forcing you to get out and meet new people, because it's always just the easiest and most comfortable option to hang out with your partner. But everyone needs to hang out with more than just one person, no matter how much you like them. By the time we got to Bulgaria, this lonely feeling had grown a lot, and the awkward time difference also made it really difficult to call our family and friends back home. After a couple weeks of the constant work, no healthy routines, and feeling very isolated, I started to feel pretty depressed. Looking back now, it seems so obvious that that would have been the outcome of that lifestyle, but sometimes whenever you're in the middle of the situation, you just don't really realize what you're doing until you've done it. And of course, once you are already feeling depressed, it's that much harder to reach out for help or make any changes because you're just feeling pretty hopeless. If we still had our apartment in Nashville, we would have gone back there and done our work from there in a heartbeat so that we could have our own space, but in the evenings still go out and hang out with our friends. But the thing about full-time travel is you don't have that home base anymore that you can return to when you need to take a beat. We knew we needed to be around our loved ones again, so after 6 weeks of editing in Bulgaria, we decided to finish the rest of our editing at home. And over the next 2.5 months, we stayed with my grandparents, which is where we are right now. We stayed with our parents and our friends,
who were all very gracious and let us stay with them.
Yes.
Thank you. These next 2.5 months were just more non-stop editing. Aside from the occasional days that we took off to spend time with our friends and family members, it was just exhausting. We were so determined to finish all of our videos by the end of the year because we just wanted to get this weight off our backs. Like all year we felt like we were being held back by these 20 plus videos, and we just wanted wanted to get caught up and have a fresh start in 2025. Basically, I ran myself into the ground trying to get caught up on these videos. It took us overall 4 months of non-stop editing to finally hit post on that final video of 2024 from Sofia, Bulgaria. By the time I hit publish on that video, I was so burnt out that I didn't feel any immediate relief. I couldn't even celebrate the fact that we'd finally caught up, because we were like, oh, when we finally do that, we're gonna have a party, we're gonna celebrate, it's gonna be so nice to have that weight off our shoulders. Wow, I didn't think that would get so emotional just talking about it again. But that was just a really hard moment for me, getting to that point where I finally realized I couldn't keep going anymore, because I had just burned myself out so much. I was completely dunzo bunzo. I just couldn't even process that we'd reached that goal, that we were caught up on our videos, because I was just so shut down by that point, and all I wanted was a big fat break, and I didn't want to film or edit anything ever again, until I'd had time to be a person again, because I had felt just like this editing robot, and I felt like I could never take time off even during those months that we were at home, because there was just so much pressure on ourselves that we put to get caught up by the end of the year and just feel like we could start traveling again.
And to explain this pressure we put on ourselves a little more, because I could imagine you might be watching this and be like, if you feel so bad, why do you keep going?
Yeah.
I think there's this enormous pressure from the rest of the internet to perform at the same pace that everyone else is performing, to keep up.
Since we've started, we've discovered so many other travel channels that, from what we can tell, are going at a much healthier pace. But I think the big point was the people that we watched at the time didn't show behind the scenes, and they were going 100 miles an hour. So we just thought that's what we were supposed to do.
And we wouldn't have done that if we didn't care so much about this. YouTube is our dream job. That's why time and time again we sacrificed our own health, our own happiness.
Yeah.
We didn't even realize we were sacrificing our happiness because...
I mean, by the end we did.
By the end we realized it. But we were constantly sacrificing ourselves because we had these big goals and these big dreams. Some people might find that relatable and some people might think we're crazy, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's why we kept pushing so hard. That's why Hannah pulled multiple all-nighters trying to get videos finished so that we could get 1 up every week or 2 up every week, because we were trying to keep the pace of everyone else, and we thought that's what we needed to do.
We thought if we didn't post a video every week, if we skipped a week, all hell would break loose. I don't know. We thought it would just mess up everything. I don't know.
So that brings us to this year. After publishing that last video, we took a week off in Puerto Rico. And since then, we've been taking things a bit slower and getting back into some healthy habits.
So yeah, we're making some very big changes moving forward. Last year, we were starting travel for the first time, starting a YouTube channel for the first time, and we really let our health come last, and that is something that we cannot afford to do anymore.
So we're making some changes. First change we're making is slowing down. We will be traveling much slower. Last year, we typically were changing location every 4 to 5 nights, and this year we're gonna stay in each location for at least 2 weeks. And along with that, we'll be putting out a video every 2 weeks.
Train break.
We've been going at that pace for the last month, and it's actually given us the opportunity to spend some evenings together, go on walks throughout the day, and just do those little tiny things that are required to be a healthy human being.
I like being a healthy human being.
Me
It's
too.
so much better.
It's very nice. The other benefit of this bi-weekly posting schedule is that it'll actually allow us to do more creatively with our videos. Whenever we were posting every week or more than once a week, I felt very creatively squashed, because the only way to put out a video every week, or at least a travel video while we're on the road traveling, was to rush through every single aspect of the process, and it just sucked a lot of the fun and creativity out of it. This will give us the opportunity to work on new types of ideas and just have more fun with it overall. Honestly, the best videos are gonna come from us being happy and having fun and expressing ourselves creatively. Another change that we really want to make is prioritizing connecting with other people more as we're traveling. This is something we kind of felt like we missed out on with traveling last year, and if anyone has any suggestions for us on how to do that, please let us know, because because it's not the thing that comes the most naturally to us.
A third change we're making is actually taking occasional breaks throughout the year just to take time to decompress, rest, be a human being for a little bit who's not running around the world. Our 1 week off that we took in Puerto Rico at the beginning of this year was so nice, but it simply was not enough after 2 whole years of working really hard. Yes, 2, because the whole year before we started traveling, we were actually working really hard preparing to travel. We were working 6 days a week before that. So it's just been nonstop work for a very long time, and it's about time we start taking actual occasional breaks and being healthy. It's time. We hope that nothing that we've talked about here comes across at all like we're complaining. We know we are so fortunate to get to travel. We have made so many amazing memories that we're gonna look back on for the rest of our life. I'm excited to keep making those memories too and sharing that all with you, because we also love YouTube as well. If we can actually make this our career one day, that is a literal dream come true for us. Right now, we're just still working on finding that healthy relationship with travel and YouTube.
But you guys have seen so many of our best moments, so we honestly felt like it would be a bit dishonest of us to not share our struggles too, since we've had so many of them. It really doesn't matter who you are, whether you're traveling full-time, working a 9 to 5, you're a stay-at-home parent. Anyone can experience depression, anxiety, burnout, loneliness, or any number of other things. You're not alone. And with that, we want to wrap this thing up by each sharing the biggest lesson that we've learned this year.
I think the biggest thing is just this truth that my physical and mental health is never less important than work. It is non-negotiable. I would have said, like, I already knew that. Like, obviously, that should come first. But when we were in the thick of it, moving 100 miles an hour, it was just so easy to lose sight of that, trying to chase these expectations we had for ourselves. So if anybody else needs to hear this too, the work can wait. You don't need to pull all those all-nighters. You do not need to destroy yourself physically and mentally. Even if you're chasing your dream, it is never more important than yourself.
Spicy. So spicy. Last year, we found that it was the simple, almost mundane things that we really missed the most, like watching movies together or sitting on our balcony at home. There's something I've heard before, and even though it almost sounds a little cliche, I'm starting to realize just how true it is, and that is that one of the greatest keys to happiness is just living in the present moment and enjoying what's right in front of you. When you're rushing through life, always trying to get to the next thing, you're just not living in the present. The things that seem so ordinary and that are often taken for granted, like going for a walk with your partner or reading a book or calling a friend, are really the things that make life so enjoyable. And taking the time to do one small thing like that every single day has been such a game changer for my overall happiness.
If you guys can relate to any of these challenges we talked about today, if you have your own experiences or insights you want to share, please let us know in the comments. We'd also love to just open up a discussion about mental health as well. And if you guys have any questions about more behind the scenes of full-time travel or YouTube or anything that we didn't talk about that you want to know, let us know also. We'd love to share more.
So yeah, that's about it on this video. This year is going to be a lot of fun. We don't have a whole lot of very set plans just yet, but we have some really cool things we want to go do. It's going to be an awesome year of travel, and we will see you guys next in Mexico. Stay wiggity!
Stay wiggity!
Okay, she's ready.
I'm ready. Promotion.
Promotion!
I'm ready! She's ready! Last year, we jumped into traveling for the full-time traveling.
We jumped into traveling for the full-time traveling.